Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in and watching this video. If you like what I'm doing, if you like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe and share with your friends. So in part 3 of the beginner's guide to getting a gun, or things you should learn or know when you're thinking about getting a gun, I'm going to go over different types of safety features in a gun and features in general. So this is going to be focused more towards somebody who's wanting a gun for personal protection, self-defense, and you may want, I've listening to people who have never been around guns. They want all these safeties and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to go over some guns. Some have safeties, some don't, and also some types of holsters. So that way you can kind of have a general idea. This is not going to be a comprehensive list of all different firearms, or probably even all the features that they can. This is just going to be kind of broad strokes of what you can kind of expect and some pros and cons. So first off, if you want a gun that has safeties, you need to know what kind of safety it is. So, for instance, this is a 1911 Colt 45. What I did just there was I cleared it. I was checking to make sure it was clear. If it was loaded, it would have ejected it around. So turn it this way so you can see the safety. When the gun is cocked, that's what I did. So if this was loaded, whenever I went like this, it cocks the hammer and there would be a bullet in the chamber. Whenever it's like this, this is the safety, and you flick it up and it keeps the gun from firing. It also has a grip safety, so if you don't have a proper grip on the firearm, it won't shoot. So this safety flicks down, and you have to have a proper grip on it. So there's two safety mechanisms. The third safety mechanism is you. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. So that is one type of, these are a couple types of safeties. Now remember, this one flicks down. This gun also has a safety. White is safe. So see, this flicks down. So you flick it up, red means dead. That means it is ready to shoot. So if this gun were cocked, one of the features it has, so this will shoot. If this were chambered and I pulled the trigger, the gun would go bang. Now this gun will also shoot without being cocked. The 1911 will not. So it's ready to shoot because the safety's off. And it has a decocker. So if you put the safety on, it'll decock the gun and will not fire. The reason why I bring this particular up in contrast with the 1911 is because if you got this and you trained with it, great. If you got a 1911 and you trained with it, great. But if you have like a smattering of guns and you go from carrying this one day to carrying the 1911 the next day, your manual of arms is different for both of these, and how you would operate it in an emergency situation. I would need to flick the safety up, shoot, aim, fire, or aim, shoot, whatever. You don't want to have to think about that. If this is going to be your gun that you carry for self-defense or the defense of your family, then you want to be able to, if you get it, you need to practice with it, learn how to use it, and it should be muscle memory. If you're getting mugged, if you're getting attacked, you don't want to have to be like, okay, pull, is this, do I have to do the flip up or the flip down? Or oh, bang, I'm dead. You want to be able to, boom, pull it out and deploy the weapon and use it from muscle memory whenever you're, just like breathing, just whenever you're in a stressful situation. So those are two types of guns that have a manual safety. That's a safety that you have to disengage purposefully to get the gun to work. Now I'm going to show you a gun that does not have a manual safety in that sense. This is a Glock 21. The only safety this has is this little teeny tiny trigger shoe. If you try to pull the trigger without engaging that shoe, it won't work. But if you do, it will work. So the main safety for this is keep your finger off the trigger, and when it is holstered, the trigger is protected. Nothing can get in there. No loose clothing, stick, pencil, whatever you have in your pocket can't get in there and engage the trigger. So a lot of people see that and they're like, well, that's not safe. It doesn't have a safety. Carrying properly and you being educated on how to use your firearm are the biggest safety factors, more than any gadgets or safeties, no safeties, flip up, flip down, decockers, any of that sort of stuff. You practicing proper gun safety is the main thing that you need to do. Another type of gun that does not have a safety are revolvers. So a revolver doesn't have a safety. This is a Colt Python in .357. And revolvers have a heavy trigger pull. That is the safety. It is hard to pull the trigger. Now, if you need a hair trigger, now barely touch it and it'll go off. So this one will have heavy trigger pull is part of the safety, and just like the Glock, you want, if you have a holster that you're carrying this monster, the trigger guard is protected. Nothing can get in at the trigger and access it. But the revolver having such a heavy trigger is pretty much the only safety you're going to have. So the other thing is other features. So we talked about the safety features. Now there's, in today's day and age, there's all sorts of different accessories you could put on a gun. So the Glock has this. This is a Gen 3 Glock 21, has this thing here. You could put a light or a laser or something like that on it. Some newer will have a cutout here for putting some sort of optic. If that's something that you're potentially going to be interested in, you could look at all sorts of different reviews on what optics are the best, what optics, different reticles, all sorts of stuff. Here is a firearm that has a bunch of those features that I'm talking about. It has a red dot optic on top. It has a light laser down here at the bottom. It has a muzzle device on it. This is a Shadow Systems DR920, and it is a Glock clone. It's an aftermarket. The patent for the Glock Gen 3 or 4 ran out, and they took that and then they made some adjustments, and that's how they make this gun. So it has the same safety as just this little trigger shoe. Same as old plain Jane Gen 3 Glock 21. This little trigger shoe, and a lot of striker fired pistols will have that. Now when I say striker fired pistol, I mean it has no hammer back here. The firing mechanism is a firing pin inside. It strikes the bullet and makes it go bang. These guns have a hammer. The hammer drops and makes the firing pin go bang. Same with the revolver, has a hammer. 1911 has a hammer. So you've decided on all this. You've picked a gun. You like it. Now, how are you going, if you're planning on carrying it, how are you going to carry it? I don't really recommend off-body carry, meaning you have it in a bag, you have it in a backpack, you have it in your purse. That's not ideal because bags, backpacks, purses, you set them down sometimes. Somebody could, if you're walking down the street, people snatch purses and snatch backpacks. All sorts of stuff like that. Where if it's on your body, especially if it's concealed, then it's going to be a harder target to steal from you. So let's go over that. If you're going to carry it, concealed, I would say, is the best way. If they don't know you have it, that's better. Both from a they're going to steal it from you situation and a I have to use it to defend myself situation. You want it to be a surprise. If they're coming after you for they want to rob you, they're attacking you for some reason, whatever the situation is, you want to you want it to be a surprise. Surprise is your advantage. So there's inside the waistband, you'll see IWB. That means inside the waistband. That means all of this is in the pants with you. The only part that's not in the pants is these clips that go over the your belt. Sits in there like that. Protects the trigger. This is a very plain Jane. What is this? This is Galco. This is a Galco holster. This is one of the first firearms I purchased. This is one of the first holsters I purchased. So you have a plain Jane thing here. This is hybrid. Leather will be comfortable against your skin. It sweats. It deforms. Do some research on what... I'm not going to go into all the holster stuff. I'm just kind of showing you some examples of what you can get. Another one, this was another early adoption for me, was this very simple 1911 holster. It is all leather, and it just, same thing. The holster and the gun are in the pants with you. This little clip clips over your belt and keeps it in. So your body pressure pushing against this side of the holster and the pants keeping it from pushing away on that side of the holster is your retention. Retention is what's holding the holster in. So, you know, there's no secondary anything. You just pull it out of the holster, like cowboy style. So those holsters, this is the holster for this guy. Same thing. Clips into your pants like that. Now, you can get fancier holsters. So like this one, for instance, this is a swap rig holster. It's a hybrid holster, so it has leather on the back, Kydex on the front, has all these extra clips and stuff you can put on here. So this one with these ulti clips you can wear without a belt. So if you're wearing jeans, you still have to be wearing some sort of pants that has some sort of structural integrity to it. You're not going to want to do this in sweatpants or yoga pants unless they're specifically designed for carry. These will click that up, clips into the fabric, and then it clips down to secure it to the fabric of whatever the pants that you're wearing. This is an inside the waistband, outside the waistband holster, so I can use it either or. Inside the waistband, I'm going to use these clips to clip into my pants. Outside the waistband, OWB, I'm going to feed my belt through these belt loops, and it'll be on the outside of my pants. Now, if you're new to carrying, one thing you have to consider is your, if you're going to carry inside the waistband, you're going to have to adjust your pant size to having a gun in there with you. It's not just you in the pants, it's the gun in the pants there with you. So you need bigger waists. Not super popular with the women, I understand, getting bigger pant sizes and stuff. The outside the waistband, I do carry this one. This is one of my favorite holsters. I do carry this one outside the waistband, inside the waistband. This is more expensive. Now, the plain Jane version of this is right around $95, which isn't super expensive, but with all the upgrades and stuff, I think we're pushing a little over $100. Like, these Ulti clips are an additional upgrade, but everything else comes with this. It would come with like plastic clips, something. These are metal, but something more similar to this. If you just get the plain Jane no upgrade version. There's tons of different options. You can. This is more. I get this because I have lights and optics and stuff like that on here. If you just buy a gun and aren't planning on putting any accessories and stuff on it, you don't necessarily need this. You can go with like a plain Jane. You know, you're going to need to know what kind of gun you have and model, and you can get a holster that fits that gun. Just like these. Just like this. If you have accessories and stuff, then you're going to want to start looking at something more customizable like this swap rig. Again, carrying inside the waistband with a shirt over it is going to be the most concealable. Outside the waistband with, you know, shirt, sweatshirt, whatever over it. Next best thing, not as concealable, you're going to have to worry about printing. That's whenever, if your clothes are super tight and you have this, whether it's inside the waistband or not, you will, if your shirt is over it and it's like really wanting to hug your body, you'll see the outline of the gun. And that's something to think about. You don't want to do that. Remember, we want it to be a surprise if we have to use it. Same thing. If you had like a pocket knife, you want the knife to be a surprise if you're being attacked. You want them to be surprised that you have it and are using it against them. So we've gone over holsters. We've gone over different types of guns, different types of safeties. Now, people will say, you know, I've heard new gun owners, they want all the safeties. They want a lockbox. They want, you know, if you're taking it somewhere, you're going to unload it. No, a gun doesn't do you any good. Unload it. I mean, we can go down the rabbit hole of the safest way to carry a gun where it will absolutely harm no one, including someone who's trying to hurt you. If you know, I mean, why not take it apart, disassemble it, bury the parts in your yard so you have to do a scavenger hunt. And then once you find all the pieces, put it together, find the ammo, load it. You know, after 3 days of that, the people that have just broken into your house, you're long dead. Or they're gone with all your stuff or whatever it happens to be. So having a gun, having it ready, loaded, ready to go, that's going to be the case for if you're carrying it for self-defense. If you're going to take it to the range or you want to throw it in your closet and shoot it twice a year, you know, do whatever you want. But for carrying, training is going to be the main thing. You want to take it to the range, shoot it, know how to use it, know how to operate it. And stay tuned for part 4. Hope that helped.